Hello everyone, welcome back on our YouTube channel Vans Vlog. As you know that we have started a video series for the preparation of theory of German driving license with the official permission and support of Fahrschulcard, which is one of the famous learning systems for the theory of German driving license. Up till now we have covered 10 topics. In the last video we were finished with the topic Ruhenderverkehr, and today we are going to start one of the important topics, which is topic number 11, Verhalten in besondere Situationen. That means like how to behave in some particular situations. So in total we have 62 questions over here. So we will divide it actually in two videos, and the first video will contain 30 questions and the second video will contain 32 questions. So then we will be done. So let's start with the first question for today. Before starting, if you are new on our channel, don't forget to subscribe our channel, like our video, and if you have any questions, any doubt about the previous videos, you can comment below. So let's start for today. The first question is, what must you remember concerning the lighting equipment of your vehicle? Like there are so many lighting equipments in your vehicle: your main beam, your headlight, then your front fog light, then your rear fog light, then your rear light. So many lighting equipments you have. So they are asking, what must you remember concerning the lighting equipment of your vehicle? It must be in operating condition for sure, otherwise like it will not be good for the safety of the road. Sometime maybe during the night you have to switch on the headlights with low intensity so that the oncoming vehicle can see you. Every light is of its own importance. So if any one of them are not in good operating condition, then like it's an issue. Similarly, it must be clean. Every lighting equipment should be clean, and it must be correctly installed as well. It's not like it is installed in the wrong direction, maybe tilted, and the light for which purpose the lighting equipment is being used, then you are not doing it for that. For example, the light is somehow tilted and not giving you the full purpose of use of it. And maybe the light is on the downwards on the roadside, maybe upward towards the sky. It is not like correctly oriented. So concerning the lighting equipment, you should consider all of these points in your mind. Let's go to the next question. So our next question is, what must you remember concerning, sorry, I haven't go to the next question. Yeah, next question is, how can you tell whether the rear fog lamp is switched on? So it is very important point. I will tell you, like there are so many things that you need to know about which light of your car is on, because this you can see actually in the car. If you know the internal system of the car, I think here I cannot see, but anyhow, sometimes in the car you can, like from inside of the car you can see that which light is turned on. Like on your dashboard you have some switches, some buttons to switch on different lights. So from there actually you can tell which light is turned on or which light is not turned on. Actually, like as you remember in the last videos, we have gone through different distances which you need to maintain from different traffic signs, and I ask you to make a diary and note them down because you have to revise them time to time. Similarly, there are different indications for light. Like you should know which light is turned on, either the front main beam or full beam is on, either the fog lamp is on, either the rear fog lamp is on. There are different colors which are being indicated in the car in the switch. Those who already know driving, I think they already know it, but anyhow those who are not familiar with these switches and light indications, they need to remember it. Anyhow, everybody need to remember it. I will again suggest you to note down these different colors or different indications for the each light in the diary somewhere. We will also make a separate video or a bonus video related to different topics which are very important, and they are totally related to like learning something. For example, learn by heart. Like we will make a video for different speeds on different roads, different distances which you need to maintain from different traffic signs, and we will also make a video related to which actually from which light indication you can tell which light is switched on. Anyhow, but for time being we will tell you again. For the rear fog lamp, you can tell it by the amber indicator light, like a yellowish indicator light. I hope in when in some questions I will be able to show you the inside structure of the car. Anyhow, you can Google it and you can like have a look on it, different lights inside the car on the dashboard. Like I hope you already know the different switches now. But anyhow, just remember it. For the rear fog lamp, the amber indicator is needed, not the red indicator or the blue indicator. Actually, this blue indicator is for a different, like we will see in the upcoming question. It is the indication of sometime full beam light. But for the rear fog lamp, just note it down. You have to learn it by heart. The amber indicator is, it can tell you that whether your rear fog lamp is on or not. I think you already know what is the rear fog lamp. Normally, when your visibility is 50 meter or lesser than that, then it is highly recommended to switch on along with your front fog lamp. For sure, switch on the rear fog lamp lights as well. Normally you never switch on your rear fog lamp. We will see it, we will discuss it a lot as well in upcoming questions, but I am only telling you for your knowledge upfront that the rear fog lamp is really required when there is your visibility is reduced till 50 meter or below that. For that, you also need to switch on the rear fog lamp as well. Anyhow, we will discuss in more detail, and this answer is correct. So let's move to the next question. Our next question is, visibility is considerably reduced. When are you allowed to switch on fog headlamps? So like visibility is reduced, so you have to switch on the fog headlamps. When you should, when in falling snow, in fog, in rain, all three conditions, whenever the visibility is reduced because of the external factors, falling snow, fog, rain, and you cannot see the things happening in front of you, like some 100 meter, 80 meter, 50 meter, then you have to switch on the fog headlamps. But if the visibility reduced till 50 meter or below that, you have to switch on the rear fog lamp as well. But here, like whenever like visibility is reduced, could be any reason, falling snow, fog, rain, snow, like any reason, you have to switch on your fog headlamps. Let's move to the next question. You are driving at a night on an unlit road. There is a motor vehicle traveling at a short distance in front of you. Which lights must you have on? So you are traveling on an unlit road, because if you are living in Germany, you already know that on the motorway Bundesstraße, on the night time, we do not have any lighting system. Inside the city we have, but on the Bundesstraße and like on the motorways, normally there are side lights, like which helps you to your, like for sure your headlights are turned on during the night time, and sometime we have alongside the road different cat eyes or something like this. So they are asking, you are driving at night on an unlit road, could be Bundesstraße, could be motorway. There is a motor vehicle traveling a short distance in front of you. Which lights must you have on? So like a motor vehicle is traveling at a very short distance from you. Maybe you are not maintaining the safety distance. So which lights must you have on? Only side lights? No. Side light normally we never on while driving. There are some other conditions which we'll see in upcoming questions, or the parking light sometime you need, but do not, you never need it while traveling. Dipped headlights actually you have to switch on. Just remember it. Normally, whenever you are traveling during the night, or whenever you are traveling during the day and it's really dark, visibility is reduced, or in the tunnel, you have to switch on your dipped headlights, not on full beam, but dipped headlights, so that you can see the oncoming traffic as well, or more importantly, oncoming traffic can see you. So you are in this question, you are traveling at a very short distance in front of a motor vehicle. That's why you should switch on dipped headlights. Full beam, no, because maybe because of full beams, for the time being you will not be able to see the vehicle in front of you exactly, because you already know the intensity of full beam is really high. Maybe for time being, as you turn on the full beam, you are not able to see the vehicle in front of you for few seconds, and this could lead to a very serious accident. It is never prescribed, never to switch on the full beam. It can dazzle you, oncoming vehicle for sure, and sometimes it can dazzle you and you cannot see what is happening in front of you. You cannot see some obstruction or some obstacle. It is never prescribed, never recommended to switch on the full beam. It is really dangerous for you and the oncoming traffic as well. They could be dazzled from the full beam of your car. So just dipped headlights you have to switch on to be on the safer side. So let's go to the next question. The rear lighting system of your car are covered. Like the rear lighting system, which contain this rear lights, rear fog lamps, whatsoever. It is a kind of switch I was telling you. Like sometimes in the car, like here we have different indications for different type of lights which are switched on. So in that condition, actually, then you have to like you can tell that which light is on by looking at the switch and indicator. So but in this question it was like relevant to last question I told you. Your rear lighting system of your car are covered. Because could be of any reason. Let's say we can take this example. It is completely covered because of the cycles. So they are asking what has to be done. Like, it is very important, you know, whenever you indicate it is the rear lighting system of your car which tells to the car for behind you either you are taking right turn, left turn. Similarly, hazard warning lights are also on the rear side of the car. Then for example, rear fog lights. So if it is your lighting system is covered because of any reason, you have to go to some substitute for that. A luminary rail system with all rear light system must be attached in any case. Like, it is an extra system, luminary rail system, which you like you can get from like from the market, which are selling the auto parts. Just take it and put it behind your car. Whenever the rear lighting system of your car is covered because of any load, anything, it is very dangerous if you are not using this luminary rail system, which is an extra system which you have to attach on the rear side, so that your lights will, like, the traffic behind you can see your lights, can see your hazard warning lights, can see your indicate direction of indication. So very important. Need only to attach on a journey longer than 5 km? No, either it's a journey of 500 meter or 5 km, you have to attach this luminary rail system. Need only to be attached for journey at dusk or during the hours of darkness, like they are telling, before the rising of the sun or during the night time. No, although it's a daytime, your lights should be visible, your rear lighting system should be visible to the traffic behind you, so must be attached in any case. I think you can understand the importance of this point. Let's go to the next question. Depending on the motor vehicle, how can you tell if the main beam is switched on? So if the main, you have to tell about the main beam. Again, you have to remember it. As for the rear fog lamp, we can tell by from the amber light. Like, if it's an amber light, then we can tell that our rear fog lamp or rear fog light is on. But how can you tell about the main beam? So I will tell you, for it's a main beam, you have to remember it. It's main, very very important. Just I will give you like a lame kind of thing to remember, but you can remember it. It's main, so you will need two things for the main. It's main. So for that you need blue indicator light and position of control switch as well. By these two things you can tell that your main beam is on. Main beam, I think you already know, it is front light. So how can you tell? Actually, I will try to make a different video for this as well, but anyhow you have to note it down somewhere and remember it. Main beam you can tell using blue indicator and position of your control switch. About rear fog lamp, how you can tell with the amber light indication. So anyhow you have to remember it by heart. Let's go to the next question. You are allowed to when are you allowed to use fog headlamps also during the day? So when visibility is considerably reduced by rain, by, like, look, by ice on the windscreen, it is your own fault. If there is ice on the windscreen, you can use windscreen wipers, you can use some extra equipments to put that snow down, to take that snow down, scratch it from your windscreen. It's your own fault. External factors actually allow you to switch on the rear fog headlamps during the day. And what are the external factors? Rain, or by fog or falling snow. Ice on the windscreen is your own laziness, is your own issue. It never allows you to use the fog headlamps. So external factors only, rain or fog or snow, as we have seen a few questions back as well. These are the correct answers when you can use fog headlamps. So, and you see, this answer is correct. Now let's move to the next question. So our next question is, when are you allowed to switch on rear fog lamps? As I told you, rear fog lamps can only be switched on when your visibility is less than 50 meter. When fog reduces visibility to less than 50 meter, then only you can use rear fog. Otherwise, your fog headlamps you can switch on, but this rear fog lamps you can only turn on when your visibility is less than 50 meter. Sometimes exact 50 meter, you cannot see exactly 50 meter, but anyhow less than 50 meter. So it is very important. When visibility is reduced by heavy rain, then you can switch on the dipped headlights, or you can switch on the fog headlamps. When fog reduces visibility to 100 meter, no, only and only 50 meter and below that you can switch on your rear fog lamps, only in those conditions. Otherwise, dipped headlights or fog headlamps will work for you. Where are parking lights sufficient when parking a car on unlit roads? So like they are asking, you are parking your car on unlit roads, for sure during the night time they are asking. So they are asking when are the only the parking lights are sufficient. So as I told you, outside build up areas there is no lighting system in Germany. Only inside the city we have the lights available on the roads inside the city or inside build up area. So whenever you are parking your car inside build up area, then because there is already some lights on the road, you can simply switch on the parking light and you can park your car. But outside build up areas, if you are willing to park, as you know, outside build up areas we have the very fast moving vehicles, and there is no light on the roadway. If you only switch on the parking lights, then maybe the traffic cannot see you and can hit your car actually, god forbid. So in that case, what you need to remember, inside build up areas there is already lights on the roadway. Simply switch on the parking lights will be more than enough. But outside build up areas you cannot do it because there is no lighting on the roadway and parking lights are not that intensified, so it will not work for you. On the hard shoulder of autobahns, no. Outside build up areas, no. Only in build up areas parking lights will be sufficient when parking on and whenever you want to park outside build up areas, there are some parking areas where there you can park. Or maybe if you want to park on some hard shoulder because of any reason, there are some other requirements that we will see in the upcoming questions. But anyhow, only with the parking lights, only inside build up areas. Outside build up areas parking lights are never sufficient because there is no extra light on the roadway. But inside build up areas, as I told you, we have extra lights, and that's why only parking lights can, if you switch on, it will work for us. Let's move to the next question. When you are driving, how can you tell whether the headlights are switched on full beam? So until now we have seen for the different kind of lights, like rear fog lamp we have seen with the amber color, and then main, as I told you, main beam or main light you can tell by two factors: by your switch position of switch, a control switch, and blue indicator. Now comes the full beam. Just remember, main beam was important, that's why we introduced two factors: control switch and blue indicator. Now it's full beam, it's not mean, sorry, it's not main, so that means only one factor will work, that is blue indicator. Simply remember, don't go away, don't think about any options. For main beam, full beam, just think these are two same things. For I am only telling you for to remember, they have some difference in them, but only for exam theory. So main beam, it's main, so we need to be very sure two things are important: blue indication and control switch. Then we can tell that our main beam is on. Full beam, only blue indicator light will work. So just remember it. We will try to make a different video for this as well. We will try to like give you like a feeling as well how it looks like inside the car. So but for time being you have to remember it like this. Let's move to the next question. When must you use dipped headlights also during the day? So dipped headlight during the day when the visibility is considerably reduced by a misted windscreen? No, it's again your fault. We have seen it few questions back. If there is some ice on the windscreen, some mist on the windscreen, it's not the external factor and you immediately switched on the dipped headlights. No, it's not the correct answer, because only and only thing which allows you to switch on the dipped headlights other than the night time, if there are some external factors like by fog or falling snow or by rain. This misted windscreen, it's your own fault. So only these two factors, as we have already discussed few questions back, are correct. In which cases must you at least switch on side light, parking light in twilight or darkness? Like whenever there is like twilight before the rise of the sun, or darkness is there, sun after the sunset. So they are asking in which cases must you at least switch on side lights, like parking lights, which we also call side lights, when you have to switch on. When the vehicle is parked on the hard shoulder outside build-up areas, when driving on the road with adequate continuous lighting. The answer is very clear. When you are driving on roads with adequate continuous lighting, then why you need the side lights? Already sufficient lighting on the roadway, you do not need it. When the car is parked on the hard shoulder outside build-up areas, at least parking lights should be on. So this is the correct answer, because anyhow when there is a sufficient or adequate lighting on the roadway, you do not need to use the extra light like parking light or side light to drive. But whenever your car is parked on the hard shoulder outside build-up areas, at least thing, as I told you, is the parking light. You need some other factors as well. This we will see in detail. But at least the side light and parking light should be turned on. It is the very basic requirement. So let's move to the next question. When do you have to switch on your dipped headlights? As I told you, the factors for dipped headlights are many. Whenever there is a darkness, you have to switch on dipped headlights. Note the full or main beam so that the oncoming traffic can see you. When there is some visibility reduction because of any reason, fog, snow or rain, any reason, you have to switch on dipped headlights. And when you are traveling through a tunnel, this we have seen in the questions of tunnel, there are some basic requirement to enter into the tunnel. So when it is dark, for sure dipped headlights. Like I will tell you, I think you understand this concept of dipped headlights. This lights with low intensity you have to turn on when driving through a tunnel, and when twilight, like when there is some dark, like before sunset, or like when the sun like before the rise of the sun. There are different things you have to remember. When there is darkness, just remember you have to switch on dipped headlights in that case. Let's move to the next question. Our next question is, you are driving with main beam lights on in darkness. So your main beam lights are on. When do you have to dip your headlights? So like your main beam lights were on, and now you have to switch it to when your dip head, you should switch on the dip headlights. I think this answer we know. When you can create problem for the oncoming traffic, or the other participants on the roadway, like they will be dazzled, or there will be some problem for them with your main beam, then you have to dip your headlights. So let's see the options. If there are pedestrians in front moving in, no, if pedestrians are moving in the same direction as your direction of traveling, then this main beam will not go into their eyes because they are traveling in the same direction. Let's say I will give you try to give you an example here. For example, it is your car. Okay, let's suppose it's a car, and then like you have switched on the main beam, and there are pedestrians, they are also traveling in the same direction, let's say here. So this main beam like will not be an issue for you. Yeah, if somebody, some pedestrian is coming from the opposite direction, this main beam can go into their eyes. Similarly, oncoming traffic, it can also dazzle the oncoming traffic if you have switched on the main beam light or full beam light. So if the pedestrian are in front moving in the same direction, you have to dip your headlights. No, it's not a problem because they are in the same direction. When a vehicle is driving close in front, this we have already discussed few questions back, because when driving, when the vehicle in front is very close to you and your main beam is light, maybe for some time you can, because of the intensity of light, you cannot see the rear part of the car, or the rear like how the car is indicating. Then in that condition, what will happen? Actually you can hit that car. So in that condition you have to switch to dip headlights. Similarly, when the vehicle is oncoming vehicle, if you do not dip your headlights, this intensity of light of main beam or full beam will dazzle them and will create problems. So that's why in those conditions you have to switch to dip headlights. But normally it's prescribed to drive with the dipped headlights. It's always prescribed. Okay, so next question is, you are driving with main beam lights on in darkness. When do you have to dip your headlights? Again, relevant to the last question. If the pedestrians moving in the same direction in front of me, as I told you, no, because they are in the same direction, it will not dazzle them. If I am required to wait at rail crossing and dazzling other, whenever you are dazzling other, you have to like switch to dip headlights. If I am driving on a road with constant, yeah, if there is already a light on the roadway, constant and adequate lighting, then you do not need to switch on the main beam. Main beam maybe you need if you are traveling on a motorway during the night time and you see there is no such like heavy oncoming traffic, and you can turn on the main beam only for your help. But as soon as you see the oncoming traffic is coming, just switch to dipped headlights. Otherwise it will create panic or problem for them as well now. So if the road is already is continually lit or adequate lighting is there, constant and adequate lighting, then you can switch to dip headlights, no problem at all. These two options are correct. Let's move to the next question. Why must you also drive with dipped headlight during the day when the visibility is impaired by fog, rain, or falling snow? What is the reason? So that you can drive at higher speed? No. The only and only purpose is you can like the oncoming traffic can see you, because of the fog, rain, or snow. The intensity, the visibility is reduced. Oncoming traffic cannot see you, or you cannot see the oncoming traffic. Therefore, it is recommended, or it is compulsory to switch on the dipped headlights when the visibility is reduced, so that the oncoming traffic can see you and you can see the oncoming traffic. It is not that you can drive at high speed. When visibility is reduced, you have to drive at low speed so that you can see traffic signs at greater distances. It is not the main reason or the basic reason. Traffic signs will anyhow be clear to you, and they are always at a very like like you can see them. Traffic signs are very clear normally. You do not need this dipped headlights for, because dipped headlights will never help you to see the traffic signs. For that, maybe you need to orient your lights in the up direction, like you have to change the direction of your bulbs towards the up, then you can see the traffic signs. Anyhow, this dipped headlight will never help you. The basic reason is so that you will be more easily seen by the other road user, and similarly they should switch on their headlights, dipped headlights, so that you can see them. The basic reasons. But it will never help you to drive at higher speed or see the traffic signs. Let's move to the next question. It's a video question, so let's play the video. So you are traveling, it's 80 km per hour speed, but visibility is really less, I think around 40 to 50 meter. You cannot see the traffic in front of you because of the fog, snow, many reasons. You see the visibility is very much reduced. Yeah, I can give you a hint here. You see this sign on the roadway, the distance between this and the similar like the similar link on the roadway is always 50 meter. Like let's say if it is like this is a, like you can say it's a sign. Similarly, like it helps you while driving during the night time. Similarly, the previous one, the distance between the previous one and the next one is always 50 meter. Just a hint for you, so you can know about it. So like you see your visibility is very less, this bar, and when the next will come, it's a distance of around 50 meter. So you see the visibility is like massively reduced. You cannot see the vehicle in front of you even 40 or 50 meter ahead of you. So let's see what they are asking. You are driving on the autobahn? Yes. What is the correct thing to do in this situation? I may drive at 80 km per hour? No. As I told you, this we have already seen in the previous videos or previous topics, that whenever your visibility is 50 meter, then you have to drive at 50 km per hour, not greater than that. Number one. Number two, on the motorway, like it's a very clear on the this is a very important point. On the broader ways, on the narrow, on wide roadways, or the motorways, you should be able to stop within the speed of your car. Like for example, if you are driving at 50 km per hour, you should be able to stop if you need to brake within the distance of 50 meter. It's a very basic rule. On the narrow road, it should be half. If the road is narrow, if you are traveling at 50 km per hour, you should be able to stop in the distance of 25 meter. It is standard. For the narrow roads, half of the speed. On the wide roads or the motorways, let's say Bundesstraße, full speed, like 100 km per hour. If you are traveling, you should be able to stop within a distance of 100 meter. Here, as you also you are allowed 80 km per hour maximum on the motorway. Here, traffic sign we have seen. But as you see the visibility is reduced, you should be able to stop within 50 meter. So ideally you should drive at 50 km per hour maximum. Whenever your visibility is reduced 50 meter, just switch your speed to 50 km per hour, or even lesser than that. It will be good for you. Turn on the rear fog lights. It is the basic rule. As you see the visibility is even less than 50 meter, switch on the rear fog lights. This is the basic rule to switch on the rear fog lights. And you see this answer is correct. Let's move to the next question. Our next question is, how is it possible to prevent oncoming traffic being dazzled by the passing beam? Like the passing beam or this dipped headlight, same thing. How is it possible to prevent oncoming traffic being dazzled by the passing beam? So like how actually, maybe as I told you, the orientation of your light is not, of the bulbs is not correctly. Like for example, either they are too towards the ground, or like towards the sky, or up towards the roof a bit. Then maybe if their orientation is not good, the intensity of light will not be correctly, or the light will not be in the correct direction. Actually what I mean exactly I will tell you like here. Uh, for example, like let's say if this is car and this is your light, you want to like spread on the roadway till here. If your bulb is oriented, let's say your bulb is towards down, then your light intensity will be like till here, let's say, and it will not spread like as you want, like till 100 meter or let's say 50 meter. Similarly, if it is oriented towards upside, so light will go towards the up direction. I hope I will like I have somehow clarified your doubt about this. In that condition, you will not use the 100% use of your light, like your orientation will not be good. So like it was the only extra point I wanted to share with you. Sorry. In this question, they are asking how is it possible to prevent oncoming traffic being dazzled by the passing beam. So the headlight can be adjusted depending on the load carried by the vehicle. For example, if you are carrying some load on your vehicle, so maybe because of this load, even the light which you are using, the dipped headlights, it will not be sufficient because the oncoming traffic will be anyhow distracted because of your load and then your light, like it will be some problem for them. So maybe sometime you need to change the headlight range. You have to like change the intensity of your range so that the light is when this is more intensified, then the oncoming traffic can see, oh, there is some load on the vehicle as well, so I need to be on the right hand side a bit more, otherwise I can hit the car or can hit the load. So because if your car is carrying some load as well, it can distract the oncoming traffic. When they will see their load, your load, they will be distracted somehow. It's a common human nature. So in that condition, maybe you need to change the intensity of your headlight somehow. That is one thing. The headlight setting should be checked after every repair, like either the headlight setting is perfect or the orientation of the bulb is fine after every repair. Only permissible light bulbs may be used in each of the headlight. Like there is some prescribed or permissible light bulbs like which are being prescribed or recommended by the government or by the automobile authorities. They can be used inside the light. Like as you know already, inside these lights actually there are some bulbs which are being placed. Which bulbs we should use? Only permissible bulbs, like with their well defined intensity of power, which are being like told by the government or some automotive authority. The next question is, as a basic rule, what lights of the motor vehicle must be turned on when driving in darkness? The passing beam. Like actually passing beam is same as the dipped headlights. As we have seen, in the darkness you have to switch on the dipped headlights. So passing beam is same as dipped headlights. It's not a different thing. Driving beam, no. As I told you, you should never switch on the full beam, as we have discussed, wherever possible to avoid it. Similarly, the parking light, you do not need to switch on the parking light in darkness. The only thing you should switch on to avoid like accidents, to not dazzle the oncoming traffic, to not dazzle the other participants in the roadway, is the passing beam or the dipped headlights. The best option is this. Let's go to the next question. Our next question is, what can be the consequences of wrongly setting the headlamp leveling control? As I told you, if your headlamp is not correctly set, like either it is too low or too high, like what could be the consequences? The oncoming traffic may be dazzled by my dipped headlights. Like it is very possible, like your orientation of bulb is such that the light is going directly into the eyes of oncoming traffic driver. Then it can create problem for them. You should be very sure that the setting of your headlamp is totally 100% perfectly fine, that it is helping you and the oncoming traffic to participate during the darkness in the traffic. But whenever it is creating problem for them because of the setting of your bulb, it's not good. So that's why if it is wrongly set, the headlamp, it could actually dazzle the oncoming traffic. The life cycle of the light bulb for the headlight, no, it's not about like their life will be reduced. It is totally technical thing. Maybe because of some short circuit or some any reason it is not safe, then its life can be reduced. But if the setting is not good, like either it's too high or too low, it is not a problem that it will reduce the life cycle of the light bulb. This answer is not correct. My car headlamp range may be too short, yes. Maybe you were expecting, as I explained you in the last question, you were expecting my light will help me to see till 100 meter, let's say, or 200 meter. But the setting is such, the light bulb is either too high or too low, you can only see till 50 meter. So the main purpose of the headlamp or the dip headlight is dead, like to help you. So if it is not good, maybe the headlamp range of your car can be too short, which can be dangerous for you and for the oncoming traffic as well. So these two options are correct. Next question is, you turned from a brightly lit road into an unlit road. What do you have to bear in mind? So, like there was a sufficient light on the roadway. Now you took a turn and you entered a unlit road. It is not like no light on the roadway. Let's say or unlit. Yes. So what do you have to bear in mind? What things you need to remember? Obstructions are harder to make out than before, for sure, because previously there was a lit road, you can see everything very clearly, but now unlit road, so your eyes will take some time to adjust to this darkness, and you have to adjust your dipped headlights, and then you can see the obstruction. So initially obstructions are harder to make out than before. Your eyes have already adopted to darkness. No, your eyes always take some time slowly to the darkness. It's a common human factor. Our eyes are not machine. Like when we have turned into an unlit road, then we have to be very careful about many things. Like we have to adjust our eyesight into the new road, and we have to like switch on the dipped headlights maybe. So maybe we have to drive slowly because initially our eyes will take some time. It's a common factor. So only two options are correct. Not immediately your eyes have already adopted is anyhow not the correct answer. Let's move to the next question. Our next question is, what must you do in this situation when you are dazzled? So you see, you are dazzled. The oncoming traffic, it is the problem. The full beam is on. Actually, the oncoming traffic is not helping you. Ideally, the dipped headlights help you uh, during the night time. But here he is creating problem for the other traffic. So what should be your behavior? You can hit that car. Simply slow down your vehicle and turn right to the possible. I think this we have seen like a same kind of scenario when there is some oncoming traffic. Just slow down your speed and move to the right side. We have seen in the previous topic. So look at the right hand of the edge of the roadway for sure. If you see continuously in this light, you will be dazzled and your car can go out of your control. Just look at the right hand side immediately. If necessary, reduce your speed for sure. Accelerate, no, to get out of the beam of the light more quickly. You cannot see what is coming from the opposite side, you can only see this light. If you accelerate, it will be very dangerous. Your common sense will say no, reduce your speed. Accelerating here will be a problem for you. Either you can hit this car, or maybe there is some more oncoming traffic, you cannot know. This driver is not a responsible driver with the main full beam on. Really problematic for the other participant on the road. So simply just look at the right hand of the roadway, or if there is some option, like for example in the question, move to the right side was also correct, and reduce your speed if necessary. Next question, what must you be aware of here? If you see, maybe you are exactly inside the city center, some cinemas, discos, hotels, bar, restaurants, many things happening on the roadway. There could be some pedestrians, so much lighting on the roadway. Even you cannot see if there is some traffic signal where you have to stop some traffic sign. So many things are happening. Like what must you be aware of here? The traffic light are hardly distinct from the colored signs. Yes, like there are so many lights on the roadway, you cannot distinguish between, you cannot differentiate actually between where is the traffic light or where are the other lights. That you only detect oncoming vehicles after it's too late. Exactly, like because of the scenario of the road, you can only detect the oncoming vehicle very late. Maybe there is some car behind this car, and this car is already traveling with the main beam or full beam, so it's problematic. Maybe you will detect the other car very late. It's other vehicle for sure. That your vehicle will not be seen in time. The same problem, as you cannot see the oncoming vehicle, similarly the other vehicles, because of the other parked vehicles, cannot see you on the roadway. Many possibilities are there. So just drive with a like you should be very cautious and drive with low speed. Let's move to the next question. Next question, why might driving along this road become dangerous? So why might it become dangerous? Like before going to option, we can discuss it here. If you see, the light intensity is changing continuously. Somewhere the road is more lit, somewhere unlit. So what could be the problem? uh, there could be like you sometime maybe you cannot see a parked car on the roadway because the lighting is totally changing continuously. Or maybe there could be some pedestrian on the roadway. Let's see what they are asking. Because person on the roadway can be easily overlooked for sure, because maybe a person immediately come on the roadway, and because of the very like the road is not that brightly lit up, so that's why maybe the pedestrians on the roadway, like or the person on the roadway, can be overlooked. because poorly lit vehicles can be difficult to detect. Yes, some vehicles are very are lit in a very good manner, pure, with a like full, or you can say full intensity of light on them. But some vehicles you can see they are not they are poorly lit. So maybe like over here, and you will detect them. You think there is no car, but there is car. So maybe the poorly lit vehicles can be difficult to detect. Yes, it is the reason, as the intensity of light is continuously changing. On the some car we can see there is a sufficient light, but on some cars, on the some parked cars, we cannot see the light. So maybe you will detect some cars very late. This could be a problem, because oncoming vehicles will only be detected no, if you see, you can see the complete stretch of the road, complete stretch of the road. There is no junction, no crossroad, no car coming from right or left. So you will clearly see the oncoming vehicle, maybe at a distance of, let's say, 200 meter as well. It's not a big deal here, because the stretch of the road is anyhow visible to you. Because oncoming vehicles will only be detected very late, this option is not correct. Only first two options. I think it's common sense. You can easily see here, like this is the stretch of the road, very clear to you. Let's move to the next question. Why is it possible that vehicle drivers do not take notice of the give way sign? If you see here, there is a stop and give way sign. So, what is the problem? Like they are asking why the drivers will not take the notice of this. If you see, there is a sign stop give way, and you have to stop here and give way to the traffic. So they are asking, like, it could be a reason that they will ignore this sign. Why? The layout of the road create the impression of priority road. If you see this layout of the road, it clearly looks like, if you see at the first, the first impression is, it is the priority road, because the lighting on the road is such that, and you think it's a bright road, so like it's a priority road. But no, you have to stop and give way. So that's why maybe sometime they will not, the driver will not take the notice of the give way sign. Parked vehicles partially conceal the intersection. It is also one of the reasons. Because of the parked vehicles, you cannot see there is a road coming from the right, and you have to stop and give way to them, maybe priority road whatsoever. So the parked vehicle is also creating a problem. The continuous lighting gives the rise to the assumption of having the right of the way at the junction. Like similarly, you think it's a priority road, so I will have priority on this junction. You will think in this way, but what is the real thing? It's a four-part give in, stop and give way. So, but looks like it's a priority road. You have priority on every junction, but no, the lighting, if you see the lighting, it gives the impression that you are on the priority road, but it's not the case. You are not on the priority road. You have to stop and give way. So, this answer is also correct. Let's move to the next question. What must you watch out for when driving into an underground car park? I think this we have already seen in the last video, I guess. Whenever you enter the underground park, pedestrians frequently walk on the vehicle lanes. Yeah, because maybe they have parked their cars, or they are searching for their cars. My tires could get damaged by narrow entrances and exit. As we know, in underground park, normally the entrances are very, like you can say, were very narrow. So maybe your car could hit some wall or some area, so you need to drive with very low speed and be very careful. My eyes need to adjust to change in lighting condition. For sure, you are driving from a lit road into an underground car park which is unlit somehow, so your eyes will need some time to adjust. All three options are correct. Let's go to the next question. You are driving on a new road through a woodland area. So new road, like there is a new road, and then but it's going through a woodland area, let's say forestry area. What must you reckon with? Game animals, this game animals, because it is translated from German into English, so game animals, like the game animals, they mean deers and like this kind of like animals which are normally found in the forest. So game animals unexpectedly crossing the roadway. Yes, it's a woodland area. So although it's a new road, so there is no such rule that if it's a new road, no game animals or no animals will come on the roadway. They can come because it's forest. So that's why game animals unexpectedly crossing the roadway. There is no reason to expect accidents involving game animal on new roads. No, there could be some accidents. Maybe some car can hit the game animal on the roadway. These animals, deers or whatsoever, dogs or who they are. So there you can expect that it's a woodland area, so there could be some accident. So there is no reason to expect. This answer is wrong. An obstruction caused by accident involving game animal. Whenever like there are some indications, I think as well, they tell you, gives you the warning that in 1 kilometer distance you can expect the animals. So there could be some obstruction on the roadway caused by accident involving a game animal. Let's move to the next question. Several deer run across the road in front of your vehicle. What must you reckon with? So you are driving on a roadway and you see several deer all together across the road in front of your vehicle. What you need to think now? There could be straggler following the herd. Like they are already gone, but maybe there are two or three more companions from them, which are which are searching for them and will come on the roadway again. So this thing is like maybe 10 deers have passed the roadway and 3 are still coming, so you can expect them. There could be some stragglers, like maybe like they are they are away from their herd, but they are following them. The herd is gone now, maybe 2 or 3 more deers will come on the roadway. Like this option is correct. There is no reason to expect any more animals. No, you can expect animals at any time. If a herd has left you, maybe more will come. Even the herd may come back and cross the road again. So it's very important. You need to be very careful about these game animals or the animals on the roadway. At which time of the day do you have to reckon with increased game pass? Again, the game animals of the animals. At which time you can reckon? At dawn, at dusk, like the time when there is low light intensity, either before the rise of the sun or after just set of the sun. The sun is set down. So these are the times, or during night time for sure, darkness, when these animals can come on the roadway. But during noon time, like peak daytime, they will never come, because they will try to avoid the roads, to avoid the human beings. They will stay in the forest. But at dawn and dusk, these are the times when actually animal can come on the roadway. So let's move to the next question, which is the last question for this video. A farm tractor is approaching you at dawn, uh, with its headlight switched on. What must you reckon with? So a farm tractor is approaching you and it's already low intensity light. So and you see maybe there is some time left for the complete rise of the sun. So there is some darkness on the roadway for sure. A farm tractor is approaching you. What must you reckon with? The tractor can carry large work equipment which is difficult to see. Yes, it is a farm tractor. It could carry some crops, some other stuff on the tractor, which is difficult to see because it is darkness. And maybe you will detect this load later and you can hit that part of the load on the tractor carry a lot of load with them, lot of working equipment with them. So because of the a bit darkness on the road, you will it difficult to see, for you to see the tractor completely. Despite the headlights being switched on, it is not always possible to discern the width of the tractor. Yes, still you have switched on the headlight, so let's say dip headlight, still the width of the tractor is too much. You need to be very careful when you are passing through the tractor, especially when it is dark. Maybe you have not noticed like the load is like coming out from right and left side, and you can hit the load. If you are not hitting the tractor, you can hit the load. Maybe some crops are totally coming from the out from the left side, protruding or encroaching from the left side and from the right side, and you can hit it. So still still with the dipped headlights, it's dangerous with the tractors. Two wide trailers can be attached. As you know, these tractors are allowed to carry on the trailers. Normally what we are doing, Furation Class A B or driving license B, we are allowed to only carry with one trailer with us, but tractor can ideally carry more than one trailers with them. So two wide trailers can be attached to the tractor, and maybe when they are turning right or left, they will take some more time. So you need to be very careful because it's already dark. And tractor, you are facing a tractor, uh, there could be some load on the tractor, some trailer attached, so you need to be very careful because their maneuvers are somehow odd. So you need to be very careful about the tractors in this scenario. So this answer is correct. So friend, this was everything for this video. In the next video we will cover the more 32 questions, and then we are done with topic number 11. If you have any question, any query, any doubt about this topic, just put it in the comment section. You can also give us the feedback. Don't forget to subscribe our channel, like our videos, and share with your friends. Until the next video, we wish you happy learning. Take care and bye.